Good evening, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the regular council meeting of November 21st, 2023. There are no amendments to this agenda, so if I could have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilor Hanchar. Thank you, Councilor Paquette. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Could I please have a motion to adopt the draft minutes from the committee of the whole meeting of November 7th, 2023?
I'll make a motion to adopt the.
What?
Pardon me?
Sorry.
Good, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from November 7th, 2022.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Paquette. Thank you, Councilor Burtis. Any questions or comments?
Not for me, thanks.
Nothing from me, thank you.
All in favor? Carried. Number 3 on the agenda is a motion to pay the open payables in the amount of $260,267.13.
I'll make a motion to pay the open payables.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanchar. Thank you, Councilor Burtis. Any questions or comments?
I have one.
Please.
61711.
61711, those are the two side by sides from the capital budgets.
Thank you. I think that was it for me.
61699, 61. somebody electric is just a big number. Yeah, and that is the payout, the final payout of the lighting upgrades and plus another bill for repairs.
I suppose I'll ask about 61713 just because
617.
not familiar to me.
Mhm.
Northern Front, that is the design for the design stuff for the rec center renovations. The kitchens and all.
Oh, like the,
Drawings.
yeah, okay, gotcha. Thank you. That's it for me.
So all in favor of the motion to pay the open payables?
Aye.
Aye.
Anything?
Yes, sir.
No, carried. Okay, number 4 on the agenda is the public hearing for zoning bylaw amendment 2023-010.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Councilor Hanchar.
Second that.
Thank you, Councilor Paquette. We had 2 written submissions for the amendment. Would you like me to read them?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. The first letter comes from Colleen Kraft. Good morning. I'm writing today to advise council that I'm not in favor of the proposed bylaw 2023-010 to amend the zoning of lot 35, block 21, Francis Avenue is for the most part a single family home and prefer to keep it this way. The duplexes have been built on our street. We're also not welcomed on this street. However, we were rezoned as per the application. There are a couple of other multiplex buildings already in planning or building stages within other areas of Watson Lake. Liard First Nation has also built many homes in the last couple of years to improve their housing stock for members. There is no shortage of housing in the community. The Francis Avenue extension will have lots available for sale, building up more of the housing market. On October 7th, 2023, I drove around the community to see how many vacant houses and multiplex units not in use. I note that there are several public and private rental units for rent or sale. Please confirm that this has been received by appropriate persons. Okay. That was the first letter. The second letter is from Ms. Levante. Please forward this to council. I am writing in regards to the proposed rezoning of Jerry Amon's institutional lot across the street from 608 at 8th Street North. I, of course, am in favor of density zoning. Watson Lake is in a housing crisis and we desperately need more units. However, I learned a lot since I sat with council and approved multi-residential homes on Francis Ave 5 years ago. First and foremost, parking. The duplexes on Francis Ave that were approved do not have sufficient parking, and the way we allowed them to build means that those lots have no yards for families to live there. This was a mistake. The people who rent apartments in multifamily homes deserve a yard for children, animals, and families. Watson Lake desperately needs to attract more families to our community. We have so many job openings in town, we can't possibly fill them all. We need to take into account what kind of community we are building when allowing people to rezone in density residential neighborhoods. I am aware that there is now a bylaw that requires a certain amount of greenery, or however, I can see that it can be bypassed when considering multifamily residences. I also think this is a mistake. I hope that if the rezoning is passed, the town will require them to fulfill the greenery minimum. There have been several multifamily properties built and or cleared in the last 5 years. I highly recommend council going and driving by them. What are we encouraging by allowing people to clear cut lots in town and put homes on them with gravel yards? We aren't encouraging buying into our community. We aren't promoting a family-friendly community. Truly ask yourself what kind of community we want. Are we planning to have it through policy and decision we make? Council has the power to put in any stipulations on properties that are asking for rezoning. I would stipulate that to be rezoned, the owners should have 5 years to build. The owners should not be allowed to clear cut the lot, and the owners should have to keep their property up to the same standard of care as majority of their neighbors have. I would like to add that there are at least 2 councillors that should not be voting on the rezoning, as it is a conflict of interest, as they are landlords, and landlords should not be voting on whether other people can become landlords or how policy affecting landlords goes forward. I would also like to remind council that I physically sat in the meeting where they agreed to stop spot rezoning and Liard First Nation leadership. So before this can go forward, I truly hope that council has done their due diligence and gotten explicit permission from LFN to move forward on this with this. Anything else would be faith negotiations. In conclusion, yes, I hope you will rezone this property, but I hope we look at the history of rezoning and the history of multifamily residences in our community and do a better and more diligent job than we have done in the past. While I agree that density is a necessity, we must also consider the burden that improper planning places on our resources, snow removal. I look at Morley Crescent in the winter, we'll tell why filling lots to the brim causes major issues for water runoff and snow storage. Thank you for your time. I look forward to a written response from council. Okay. I believe that's all we have for written submissions. So if there's any comments from council, we'll take those at this time.
Your worship, just for the record, Janice Carlson on the galleries said no comment.
Okay.
Due to this letter, I will in fact be abstaining from this vote. However, my wife, who's doing applications with Max right now, is in favor of it, and she doesn't sit on the council. So she would like to throw her support towards this. However, I will abstain from the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Slayer.
Yeah,
I'll just go through the list at least so everybody has a chance and it's somewhat organized. But if you would like to go first, sure, please do.
Okay, a few years ago, I had to design a property sometimes it's 7, and we had at that time 2. But at the time I complained that the lots were too small. So at the time, I told you so is what I should say, but the lot that is there is only 2 homes, it's adequate for parking. The other lots were not.
Okay, thank you, Louise. Shannon, do you want to make any comments or did you have?
Yeah, so what I've got a little sheet here, it's kind of what our concept is.
Sure.
So what we plan to do, or what we would like to do, if this was approved, is construct a 6-unit apartment building, 2 bedrooms each. It is well below the 50% lot coverage requirement, which would allow for 2 parking spaces per unit, as well as a small common area. And so I believe it fits within the zoning guidelines of a multi-family. I disagree that there isn't a housing shortage. I feel like we need to somewhere. Just being a landlord myself, we get lots of requests.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Shannon. Ruth, do you have any comments for the open hearing, public hearing? No? Okay. Good. Okay. Is there anyone in?
We have, Bone and Gord Sunby online.
Good. Patty McLeod, do you have any comments regarding this public hearing?
Hi, thanks. I first of all, the sound quality is not very good on my end, but I would also agree that there is a housing shortage still, and I think that this development should be allowed to go ahead in accordance with the current zoning bylaws and requirements. I believe that taking this lot from not being used at all to having a useful life for the town is a good idea. So good for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Patty. Sorry about the sound quality. We'll try and speak up a little bit so that you can hear us. Sometimes it's an advantage to have a camera too. You can sort of see what's going on, and communicate a little better. Just for the future. Is there anybody else online?
Gord Sunby.
Gord Sunby, do you have any comments regarding the open or the public hearing? Sorry.
Hi there. Is this in regards to the lots that Bergeron's want to do? I come in here late, so.
Yes, it is, Gordon.
Yeah, no, I'm pro development. I don't mind seeing that happen at all, and I think that the change is good. And then also, you know, we have a guy beside there, Andy, was going to do a similar thing a few years ago, so it might be something moving forward. If we're looking for lots in those areas or buildings in those areas, it might be a way to house things. So I'm in favor.
Great, thanks, Gord. Appreciate your comments. And I think that's it for.
One more comment. I think there should be a ratio of neighboring lots, of the closest neighbor, to how many units. So if the neighboring lot has 1 unit, if it's twice the size, 2 units, if it's 6 times the size, 6 units. Because you're basically right against other neighbors, so lots are pretty small. So if it's twice the size, 3 times the size, whatever the size of the lots adjoining, which are already the single smallest lots in town, whatever times they are, should be the amount of units should you.
Okay, thanks for your comments, Elise. Gord, just so you know, you're still not muted, so. Oh, you are now, never mind. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for your comments regarding this zoning amendment. If there's no other comments from council at this time, I'd ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Slager. Thank you, Councillor Paquette. All in favor? Carried. So we will have a decision on this at our next regular council meeting. after we all have a time to digest comments and discuss. Okay, thank you everybody for your comments and feedbacks. All right, so next on the agenda, we have some correspondence from Delise Studenberg. I will read it. Sorry? I'm just gonna read the letter. I'm not gonna read the attachments with it. Just the letter that was sent to us. November 17th, 2023, Mayor and Council, Town of Watson Lake, going through the process of applying and receiving a development permit to bring an empty shell building that has been sitting for 25 years into use, has been in education. There are a lot of bylaws in Watson Lake. No wonder few people are willing to put down their roots here. I have deep roots and am not stopped by the roadblocks, but others may not be willing to dig deep. The basic development permit is a simple process. I included a permanent C-can in my original development permit. Setbacks and expectation to paint to match home is reasonable. Once colors are established, I will comply. Only color on property is green and container is green, so we will see what looks best when we get to the exterior of the house. My frustration began when paying another $200 for an additional development permit to have 8.9D, which is shipping containers definition from the bylaw. Shipping containers may be permitted as temporary structures during the construction of a building or structure on the condition that they are removed prior to the completion of the building and issuance of occupancy. I put in an application for 4 20-foot containers, 2 20-footers to contain the specialized furniture that building is going to be framed to fit. The closets are freestanding, and for an 8-bedroom house, that is a lot of furniture. A 1 by 20 footer for insulation and building products needed on site under cover. 1 by 20 that will not be needed until tools must graduate to outside building. When floors get done, which is before painting, I will get away with 2 cans for bulk of the time, but might overlap for a period. Apply for 4 as $200 charge if needed, another on-site. This would seem reasonable in my opinion, as 1.5 acre property, there is no crowding. I was verbally informed that the application would only be good for 1 container. It was pointed out that the Yukon Housing construction site has 1 by 40 footer, 2 by 20 footer on the site at least. Why is it okay on smaller lot than on a bigger lot? Was advised that because the construction company is from out of town, that they did not have property to store material in. I feel that this attitude is punitive to taxpayers of Watson Lake. If bylaw stated some ratio for use of cans, such as 1 container, unless adjoining properties approve on additional number. My complaint is how the bylaw makes the town of Watson Lake look like an old boys club. Why should taxpayers willing to spend copious amounts of money building in Watson Lake have to be made to be worthy of acceptance? Make the bylaw black and white with no room to be accused of putting people in their place. I do have currently licensed trailers that we can park as many containers as I wish on this property and be compliant. The average person does not have as many trailers to fit containers as we do. So this limitation does not affect our project. This is not an appeal. This is just pointing out the level of stupidity. Getting a development permit is not a favor being done, but rather a fee being paid by taxpayers to follow a set of rules. This is hard to follow if the terms are open-ended. Please revise wording if the subsection or treat each client the same. Thank you. So is there any comments from council or anything administration would like to add, or any comments? If not,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Inner development permit, is there anything in there that has? I didn't look up the bylaw. just on the page right there. Is there anything in there that says, you know, shipping containers, if approved, can be there for X amount of time?
Your worship, it says notwithstanding,
The 1 year, I got that part.
No, it doesn't say 1 year.
Sorry, Delise, we're just,
so notwithstanding sections 8.9 A, B, and C, shipping containers may be permitted as temporary structures during the construction of the building or structure on the condition that they be removed prior to the completion of the building and issuance of occupants, is what the wording says.
Mhm.
So if nobody ever occupies the place, the containers could stay?
Well, it's a loophole there, yeah.
The building permit. Services.
sorry, Delise, we're just, it's not open for discussion.
I was just seeking clarification on that, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Slager. And if there's no more comments for this correspondence, we will leave it at that. As it says, there's no appeal, there's no application, there's nothing, so it's simply just something for us. Okay. Okay, so next on the agenda is the CAO report.
Thank you, worship. It's been a busy few weeks, out with budget. I must commend my staff. They really buckled in to get us a product, in for now, and capital budget that, will be presented later tonight, I think is in the rounds of 4 million this year. Bear with me while I looked it up. Yeah, 4 million and $136 for capital. The majority of that fund is, budget is through gas tax, proposed through gas tax. And the O&M budget that's before council is, a budget that would not seek a tax increase on the municipality. This year, there was, an assessment, so we're still reviewing the assessments, but it looks like assessed values on numerous properties in town went up this year. So we're seeking some clarification on that because the assessors were not in town. It was a tabletop exercise, so how they justified some changes is questions that administration is seeking from them at this time. So once we have those answers, we'll bring back to council. It's on for first reading tonight, so that way it can go to the public hearing on next Monday night, the 27th. To be brought to the public. So, and those will be, the bylaws will be available after tonight for the general public to review. So that's going ahead. We've had engine issues with the excavator at the landfill. So we're working with Brandt Tractor to get the mechanic up here to actually pull it apart and take a look and see if the motor can be salvaged or if it's gonna have to be a replacement or a rebuild. So I should know tomorrow when the mechanic's gonna arrive, but the mechanic might actually arrive tomorrow as well. So, yeah. And the public waste drop-off construction started about 3 weeks ago, and they wrapped up yesterday afternoon, and they've got about a quarter of the work, the groundwork completed already. So it was phenomenal. The correspondence with this contractor has been the best that I've had since I've sat in this chair in 7 years. Reporting with pictures and photographic evidence of everything that's done, and a full report of even how many truckloads of fill they moved, how many loads they moved with the excavator. It's phenomenal. So that's moving ahead, and so they're done for this season because they can't do any more compaction due to the cold weather and the snow. So it's all set up for perfect start in the spring, so which is nice. And they're excited to get back in here in the spring so they can complete it and move on to other projects, which is nice. So that's moving ahead. Snow removal is off to quick start now after the holiday we've had so far up to this time. But the weather, seems to be definitely been in our favor this fall. And as many of you know, we're still struggling because Atco's got district heat shut off yet. And thank goodness for the warm weather because of the fact that we would have been in a real, bad situation. But they informed me on Friday that it will be running this week. So it was just a matter of when this week they were beating the system, and getting it charged up and doing their testing before they turn it back on.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's moving ahead, but like I say, majority of our work has been on budgets. Today we did have a presentation, your worship sat in on it, but my management team, sat in with, the Department of Community Services. There was, Lands Branch, infrastructure, CCBF, which is the old gas tax, and recreation presented along with infrastructure on the ISIP funding projects we're going on. So it was very educational. It was nice to see the actual 2 Lands Branch members back in town. They were meeting with First Casca in the afternoon to go over progress on the Francis Avenue development and moving ahead. So apparently there's conversations going on between the Yukon government and the Irish First Nation about the next ones on our wish list of priorities that have been brought forward to the community. So nice to see that rolling ahead. So that's about all I have to submit. There is quarterly reports that before you get tonight, and I'm sure there's gonna be questions arising from some of this stuff there.
Sounds good. Thank you, CAO Lockwood. Appreciate that. And as you mentioned, next on our agenda, we have the quarterly reports. Well presented. Thank you very much. It's come a long way. You know, it's pretty good. Is there any questions or comments from council?
There's one missing from recreation, wasn't there?
There's recreation is in there, your worship.
In that folder?
Mhm.
In this folder right here?
I'm looking at it.
I'm not. If you click on the quarterly report folder. There's 5 only.
I guess 6.
That's 6.
Don't know. Anyway, I don't have any questions. I just didn't see that one because it wasn't in my folder.
Your worship, the budget variance, one isn't in there, so I can enlighten you for the record on our financials.
Administrative, okay. Sounds good.
So as of October 31st of this year, in our general revenue account, we had $3,004,130.62. In our savings account, we had $1,798,220.23. And in our reserve accounts, we had $1,269,768.03 for a total of $6,072,118.88. And in our Canada Community Build Fund account, we had approximately $7.8 million.
Quick question on that one.
Yep.
When does that annual contribution happen?
We received one payment already, but we're waiting on another payment, which they feel will be in the new calendar year to top that up.
So 2 payments a year?
Sometimes they break them into 2 payments that come to the total approximately $900,000.
Okay.
So budget wise, given that we spend $250,000 every 2 weeks on open payables, where do we sit going into the new year? What can we anticipate for a possible surplus at this point, given last year's same year to date? Or no, let me rephrase that. Because I saw your head tilt and I was like, no, I didn't have it right.
I was trying to figure that one.
No, what I mean is, so What do you think our projected surplus at the end of the year? It's great to have money in the bank. But if we continue on the current track, where do you anticipate us falling? A surplus of how much at the end of December 31st?
I honestly don't want to try and take a wild guess.
Yes, tonight?
Yeah, I don't. I believe we're gonna finish with a surplus. Just based on staffing issues and some stuff, just the way the trends are going. But I honestly don't wanna try to put a guess at it because it's just too far out there, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
I'd be in better position to answer in December, because then we still have 1 month's worth of payables coming, but it'll be a lot closer. A lot of our entries are journal entries and they're done at the end of the year. So there's a lot of, some lines right now don't have any expenses, but there's money budgeted in them. But those are all year-end
Type expenses.
expenses that get transferred over. So it's a huge, yeah, like I said, I don't want to get into that one.
Understood.
Okay.
Any other questions for the quarterly reports?
No, I'm really surprised when his dog's Connie picked up and took away with it. It's quite amazing. I commend her.
One question, I'm not, so it had said in here about public works, their priority was to basically help every other department, yet no other department has actually ever helps them. Why is that?
The reason Public Works is the department that helps the other ones is the fact that they bring the equipment over
Oh,
to
okay,
assist.
I see.
And then there's also some skill sets there. Public Works, like when we had to hook up the boiler and stuff at the rec center. It was, I go out and reach out for the help I can get. And we parachute staff around, but most of the other departments don't have the staff that can help the other direction.
You don't want Sophie on a grader. You just got a license.
Well, no, but I just, oh, but when I look at that, I was just like, how come they're, like, you would think that, okay, we're a team here, right? Why are we helping each other out at different times? Why is it just their mandate or their priority to help everybody else out, but it's not reciprocated?
Yeah,
And
and
so,
it's based on skill set, and a lot of the majority of the work is because they're the equipment operators and they're bringing equipment over to assist.
yeah, and that makes sense when you say that.
My only question is about, oh, sorry, are you finished?
Yeah,
My only question is just about the fire bylaw. Fire chief mentions that in his report. Just wondering when we can view his notes on that.
He's currently got the first bylaw reviewed and back to me. He's currently partially back through the second bylaw, so they'll come back part and parcel. And my intention is that they'll come back for the committee of the whole meeting in December.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, we've been working on that one for a while.
Well, we were just waiting for his notes from what I understand, so.
We knew we were hiring a fire chief, so we were
Yeah.
delaying it a little
Just
bit.
got notes from the last one, and so, yeah, notes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For presentation purposes on these quarterly reports, could we do a little highlight section that I can read off, and maybe there's something, something within that report that can be presented to the community? Because instead of reading the whole thing, there might be something,
Synopsis.
a synopsis, if that's not too much to ask. I know that it's already a little bit
Highlight reel.
the highlight reel, or even a one page from all of them brought together. That
I
makes
thought
sense.
at one point in time, we were gonna have the actual managers present to us as opposed to it being a report.
And that is the plan. We're still on the staff training at the moment. And the hope is in the new year that they will actually be reporting their individual reports to council.
Thank you.
But thank you for the work. That is excellent. Scribed, appreciate it. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have the first and second reading of capital budget amendment bylaw 2023. Motion to quarterly reports.
Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
There's nothing going on.
For some reason I haven't yet, but accept it.
It's a report, so.
I
Can't recall.
done
I
this
can't
ago. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so number 8 on the agenda, first and second reading of capital budget amendment bylaw 2023-013.
I'll make a motion for first and second reading of capital budget amendment 23-013.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hanchar, Burtis, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, first reading of capital budget bylaw 2023-014.
I'll make a motion for first reading of the capital budget bylaw 23-014.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Thank you, Councillor Burtis. Any more questions or comments?
That's just to get it on the website for other people like.
First reading is to
Right.
get her
Yeah.
started, yeah.
Not at this time.
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. And so we do have our town hall meeting next Monday,
Yes.
where we'll discuss and
Take questions.
Present.
Copies.
present, yes.
Yeah, your worship, just for the record, the proposed O&M budget is shows a revenue of $6,189,757. And expenditures currently are at $5,931,271, which would allow a movement of $258,486 to the capital budget.
Thank you, CAO Lockwood. Maybe too, since we just did the first reading of the capital budget, you could give us a total for that capital budget. That's okay.
Yeah, sort of go both hand in hand. So the capital budget proposed is $4,005,136. Excuse me.
So please come on Monday so you can,
Monday, 6 o'clock, curling lounge.
yep,
It
that's right.
maybe should be noted for those in Mallory as well as online that the 258 number, 258,000 on the 4 million number. Different pots of money are accessed for various capital budget things such as gas tax. It's not like there's 258,000, we're magically turning it into 4 million.
No.
Yeah,
There's other avenues of funding which will be presented in the capital budget on Monday at the town hall meeting.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, just-
No, that's great. Thanks, guys.
Clarification sake, because those numbers, when you hear them, you're like, how?
It's, yeah. General comment, it is kind of interesting and exciting to be able to spend $4 million on our own capital. To
Absolutely.
have the ability and knowing that it's coming from money that has accrued in different ways and other funding pots. There is a portion of our own funds that will be used, but it's also nice to have those funds because in the past we didn't have those funds and able to do that, so. So yes, thank you, Councillor Sutton. Number 10 on the agenda is the first reading of the O&M budget bylaw 2023-015.
Make a motion for the OMM bylaw of 2023-015.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Any questions or comments?
Not at this time. Thank you.
All in favor? Carried. Second reading of zoning bylaw amendment
Skip it.
2023-010.
Skip the-
Tax.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, number 11. Here.
Those ones that in there. It's okay, I got it right here. Number 11, first reading of 2024 property tax levy bylaw. I was just trying to get by that one.
Oh, yeah.
Smooth that over.
So, yeah, just for the record, we motion this and then it goes to the public and then we can make any amendments.
First reading is always to bring it to public. So it's just to open the bylaw so we can start discussion.
And your worship, just for the record, the bylaw that's before you tonight is a no change status quo to last year's property taxes.
Okay.
Given,
the levy is.
given the nature of the assessed values being so,
We don't really know that yet.
I know, but like, have we ever decreased the mill rate?
I don't recall historical decrease in the mill rate.
Or is that set, like you absolutely have to charge that?
No, that's set by council, your worship.
Okay,
This is just to get it on the books and then
okay,
Mhm.
it can be changed at other readings.
So can I have a motion?
oh, so,
I'll make a motion for first reading of the property tax levy bylaw.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Thank you, Councillor Paquette. Any more questions or comments?
no,
All in favor? So yeah, there is a process always, right? This is just to open the bylaw. We could even discuss it a little bit during our town hall meeting. When we will potentially have a lot more information regarding, it. So. Second reading of zoning bylaw amendment 2023-010.
at this point, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest and remove myself from the voting pool. As per Aaron Levante's letter.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Slater. You'll have
I'll
to,
make a motion to the zoning bylaw of 2023-010 second,
Sorry,
right?
Second. reading.
yeah.
thank you, Councillor Burtis.
That's okay. I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor
Sorry.
Hanchar. Any questions or comments?
Not for me, thank you.
I will, for the record, state that I don't believe this is a conflict of interest. There's no personal benefit to this for my behalf. I don't feel like it's a conflict, so I'll just, that's for the record. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next on the agenda, we have councillor open forum. So any who would like to go first?
I don't think I have anything today, but if you go around the room, I might come up with something.
Sure. Councillor Burtis?
No, nothing for me, sorry, thanks.
Councillor Pia?
Yeah, I just wanna thank the town for cleaning up the snow so quickly. Great, that's great.
Thanks, Councillor Pia. Councillor Slager?
Two things. One, on the budget there, I was wondering if we could add the prizes for the Halloween and the Christmas decorations in the upcoming budget.
Your worship, they are in there,
You have them?
Meeting, I showed that we had increased it by $5,000.
Gotcha. So that, and also, no, that's okay, I won't go there. I'm done. Thank you.
Guess that's. In the, sorry, whichever department moved all the stuff to the landfill for the public waste drop off.
Yeah.
What's that? Anyway, it says it was that, you know, loads and loads and loads of whatever it is to cut down costs on the project. I'm just wondering if that's like, I don't know how to word this. Cause that project was so much, like, is that,
Yep.
like the
Yeah.
contractor's not gonna like, I don't also be, I don't know, I'm trying to say,
No, that was part of our negotiations on that contract.
like, is that reflected in in
It is,
the
yeah, that was. in-
cost of that contract, I guess?
It was.
Okay, thank you. That's all, I don't really have anything.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll just recap our schedule for this holiday season because it's action packed. So to the 21st today, our regular council meeting, November 27th at 6 p.m. is the town hall meeting. We'll be discussing the O&M capital and general maintenance bylaw. Was there one of them?
Project status.
And presentation on all the projects up and coming and currently. AYC for Danina and Councillor Hanchar. December 5th at 6 p.m. is the next committee of the whole meeting. And then December 7th at 5 is a Christmas dinner. December 16th is to be determined. But I think it's the town Christmas party.
That's a staff party.
Yeah. December 19th is another regular council meeting, and then we will break for holidays and then reconvene on January 9th. Cool. Action packed. I also don't have any questions this evening. I feel like we haven't, for the record, had some follow-up on the tripart agreement from LFN. I've been knocking on that door continuously, daily, to try and get some follow-up. Apparently, that document was, well, not apparently, the document was signed by myself and Deudena, so Harlan, and is currently at the Justice Department in LFN, being gone over by lawyers to make sure that it is okay. So hopefully we'll have that back soon. And I think that's about all. I don't have anything else for. So I think that's all. If we'd like to motion to adjourn.
I'll make motion to go adjourn.
Thank you, Councilor Paquette. Thank you, Councilor Hanchar. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much for coming.